Sicilian defense, open, Prins variation, 5, e6. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn, since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. The c-pawn in the Sicilian defense controls the d4 square. Nf3 moves the knight toward the center in anticipation of a pawn push on d4, where it will be ready to retake the piece if black captures on d4. When black eventually plays nf6, white is prevented from moving the piece to e5 by the opening of the light-squared bishop on d6. d4 offers to trade the d-pawn for the c-pawn, giving up a center pawn for more active pieces. Cx d4 provides black 2 key pawns while giving white only one. Nx d4 recaptures the pawn and activates the knight in return for having one central pawn versus black's 2 central pawns. Nf6 develops the knight toward the center and attacks the undefended e4 pawn. f3 defends the e4 pawn and stops the black pieces from coming to g4. The e6 square regulates the d5 and f5 squares and permits the growth of the dark squared bishop. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. This develops a knight from its starting square, activating it. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent avoids some of the attacking associated with opposite side castling. By positioning the bishop on a potent diagonal, this fianchettos the bishop. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. Games Master. It is the final book action. A rook enters the action after developing outside of its starting square as a result. It is quite good. Among the best actions. It is quite good. This connects the rooks, which helps them coordinate together in the future. It is good. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening.